thermal technology can supply over 90% of grid power while reducing carbon emissions. This session will give the roadmap that India could nearly eliminate its dependence on coal, oil, and gas for electricity and transportation, drastically slashing global warming pollution without increasing cost for energy. High efficiency is achieved because solar thermal plants do not need to convert energy to another form in order to store it and do not rely on battery technology. We have some good speakers in this session. Shri Wajahat Habibulla Sahab, former Chief Information Commissioner of India and Secretary to the Government of India in the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Dr. Gopinath Ghosh, Director and Chief of Policy Research, Asian Institute of Poverty Alleviation, New Delhi. I also expect Sri Amlendu Pal, who is associated with Asian Institute of Poverty Alleviation, for the address. So I invite first Sri Wajahat Habibullah Sahab, former Chief Information Commissioner of India and Secretary to the Government of India in the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Sir.
Sorry, there's not a single lady here, so I can't begin with ladies and gentlemen. But gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be here with you today to chair this session on how solar energy can replace conventional sources of energy at minimal cost. This is an important subject, and I expect that I have been asked to chair this session. I am not a technical expert. We will be having the technical experts speak to us. But I've had an experience of actually working with the establishment of solar energy. And on that basis, may I say to start with, the statement just made that perhaps solar energy cannot provide consistent and constant power is wrong. And this is, I have had a personal experience of this, and if I may elaborate on that. But I had started off in my engagement with solar energy when I happened to be Joint Secretary in the office of the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, who in his time had given a lot of emphasis to this technology, in fact all non-conventional energy sources. That's wind energy, solar energy, and ocean energy. It was at that time that this ministry was set up. I'm sorry that there's no representative of the ministry here today, because I think they would have been enriched with a discussion with all of you. But certainly I expect that the conclusions of this workshop will be sent to them, and hopefully they will be able to draw down on it for their very ambitious project which they have planned, and they have given, the present government again has given high priority, and particularly to solar energy, because it has been successful insofar as the state of Gujarat is concerned, from where, as you know, the Prime Minister of India hails. But it was at that time that I said that this was initiated, this whole program of solar power and the establishment of the ministry. But my hands-on experience was, because just after my posting in the Prime Minister's office, and on the completion of my term, I then went on to becoming administrator of the Union Territory of Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep are coral atolls off the coast of Kerala in the Bay of in the Arabian Sea, and there are 36 islands, all grouped together in an area of 32 square kilometers, and a population of 60,000. Obviously, because these are outlying islands, it was a problem to provide them electricity. And how is electricity supplied? By carrying huge tankers of diesel oil, which were then secured and provided the containers, which were kept on the islands, and they provided the electricity by generation, power generation. Now you will guess immediately that this is an ecologically fragile area. One of the perhaps most fragile. These are coral atolls, of which there are very few in the world, and you will also know they are under threat in most parts of the world. But here we were supplying power through diesel, fossilized fuel, and securing that diesel there. So if there was leakage, what would happen to the islands? Set aside that you had very good means of actually securing